Bob Coach Girl. Can you hear us? You there?
Yep.
All right. GM, everybody. I'm Creatress. We are live on YouTube. We are live on X. And we are also live on Instagram. At least I hope we are. I think about it. I've never clicked go live on there. But here's hoping that worked out. Instagram's still a little bit wonky. If you've ever tried to live stream to Instagram, it's a little more complex than any other live stream. But I'm not going to worry about Instagram now. Today we are here for There's Layers to This, Season 3, Episode 4. And we have a special guest today. Very excited to dive in and ask her some questions. We have the famous, the Web3 famous at very least, Robot Fish Girl. Thank you for joining us.
In what universe?
Okay, tell us, okay, wait, hold on. We got to do our intros first. That's right. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So, for those of you who are just joining us, whether you're on YouTube or X, or listening to this live recording some other day, my name's Creatress. I was born S3E4. I know that sounds nothing like Creatress, but that is the fun of giving yourself an art name. You can pick whatever you want. So I'm a 3D artist primarily, but I am also I'm also a painter. I'm also a sculptor. Obviously, a sculptor. Yeah, that's a notes 3D, but I sculpt in real life and virtually. I like to dance. I like to sing. Singing, I don't really publish, so that's kind of like a private art form that I have. But I'm just saying, I really like all art forms. Pixel paint lately. Shout out to Space Paint. The thing that I like to do the most, at least currently, is do VR performances. So, yeah, take a look. Follow me on all the places. Instagram has a lot of videos of me performing. So, with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Paul, my co-host.
GM. I have had the pleasure of listening to Creatress's beautiful voice plenty of times during karaoke nights, late night karaoke nights in New York, in LA, in San Diego. It's quite fun. The sisters, Creatress and Issa, who's in the audience, big fans of karaoke, and it's been fun when they bring me along. But I'll intro myself. Hello everyone. My name is Valerie, aka V Dizzle. Before Web3, I was studying to be a surgeon for athletes, doing rehabilitation with athletes. In May of 2021, I discovered NFTs through Gary V, and he actually gifted me my very first NFT with a giveaway that I entered. And immediately I had offers on OpenSea of over $120,000, and that was pretty mind-blowing to me, and so I felt like I needed to take a deeper dive. What is going on here? Why are people offering this insane amount of money just upfront like that with crypto? So I took a deeper dive, learned about smart contracts, learned about blockchain, and I really felt passionate that I left my studies in Web 2, and I am now in Web 3 full time. And what I do is I host meetups here in San Diego. We have a community here called San Diego NFT Friends. And professionally, I have a Web3 event planning and management company, and we've done events at San Diego Comic-Con, for the NBA at All-Star Weekend, in New York, in Miami, for VCon in Minneapolis and Indianapolis. And so, yeah, we'll see where this all brings me in 2024. But it's been an exciting journey, definitely one of hustling, but I've met wonderful creators and builders like Creatress and yeah, I'm just excited to hear more from Robot Fish Girl, who I hear is also a builder herself. So without further ado, I'd love to hear your intro, Robot Fish Girl. How are you today?
I'm very tired. Hi, I'm Robot Fish Girl, aka RFG. Or Nasha. Most people just call me RFG though. Yeah, I've been in the whole Web3 ecosystem for almost exactly 2 years now. Or will be 2 years in like a couple weeks. And I started just doing a community management job. I had been working in IT before then, and before that, I was already doing voice acting and working with Disney a whole lot at the Disney Olani in Honolulu. So um, but yeah, after all of that, I needed to get out of IT, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do community management for this metaverse company. That didn't work out, but through that, I found Nouns, and I basically was just hanging out in the Nouns Discord. There was a proposal from Nouns to do retro reward for builders, and that wound up paying my rent for like a month and a half. And I was like, you know what? If I'm getting retro rewarded this much just for hanging out and helping people, which is something I was doing anyway, then maybe there's more to this. So I like withdrew my 401k for my IT job early so that I could have like a 6-month buffer and dove headfirst into the Nouns ecosystem. And this is how I've been sustaining myself ever since, primarily by way of hosting on the Noun Square. I was not actually on the founding team of TNS. I think a lot of people think I was, but I was at the first show, but I was not on the founding team. I was just there every day to the point where my laugh became on the show's soundboard. Like I don't even have to. This is not me. This is the soundboard that is playing this noise. But that became a staple part of the show, and then they brought me on. I was doing video editing for a while, and then as of last year, I started hosting more and more during the holiday season because everybody else has those weird things that I'm not familiar, like family and friends. So I took over hosting during the holidays and basically never stopped. So now I host 9 o'clock at the Noun Square pretty much every day that Toady is not hosting. It's me.
Wow.
And that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years. Is just that and VO work.
That is so fun. That I feel like that's such a testament to like find your place like through just going to the different spaces on Twitter or on whatever platform you're on and like see where you fit in, like your laugh obviously fit in really well.
Well, yeah, but it was a combination of that and Nouns is a global community and languages have always sort of been my thing. So I think that was part of it is being able to, just live translate for whoever happened to come up. I spent a lot of time in Nouns just naturalizing props for people. They would write a proposal for nouns in Swahili, and I would translate and naturalize it into English, for instance. That happened a lot. I helped start a couple different Nouns Africa projects. I helped out with the early days of P-Nouns and Nouns Japan. Nouns Latam, a whole bunch of stuff. I was tangentially involved in the beginning, and people give me a lot more credit than I deserve on those. But I was just around. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Hey, right place, right time. I mean, that is a skill too, in a way. So don't underplay it. I think you're definitely when I think of the Noun Square, or when I think of nouns in general, I definitely think of you. So like at this point you're completely in there. You're baked in.
Alpha. I have the soundboard hooked up. I'm not gonna not use it.
I love it. I love it so much. I'm like, man, Creatress and I have talked about getting our soundboard, and we may need to steal some sounds from you. And like I'm
Your
like
CC0, do it.
Oh, CCC0. We love CCC0 on this show. If you're new to the show, we talk a lot about CC0. Nouns is CC0. Toes is CC0. And so you can use the images. You can right click and save, make stickers, make merch, post them around town, post up flyers. You can do all fun things. And so we definitely are a huge fan. And so cool to hear that the sounds are also the CC0. Very cool. I'm like having trouble. Is this the real laugh or is this the soundboard? I'm having trouble deciphering.
Usually it's going to be real. The fake one is the same pattern every single time. So that's what the fake one sounds like. It also sounds like I'm far away from the microphone because I was when that was recorded. Alpha. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need a laugh. I need a laugh, a soundboard thing for future spaces. This is so good. Oh my gosh. If you
Tony abuses that noise. I don't know why he regretted it because he started spamming it every space. It was that and the alpha sound and like
Rugged.
all of those.
what was that?
Rugged.
Rugged.
Oh my gosh, that's
Still
a good
me.
one too.
Yeah, he also uses we had alpha, but sometimes people send, give us info on the show that isn't quite alpha. Like it's info, but it's not really quite that useful. So for them we have
These are so good.
Oh my gosh. I can't. Okay, before I did see we had our good friend Brett come up, and I want to go to him. But before we do, we gotta go over the Web3 news, and then we're gonna jump into to asking Robot Fish Girl more questions. RBG for those that are in the know. If you know, you know. If IF
RFG, RPG is Ruth
Anyway,
Bader Ginsburg.
sorry.
That's very much not me.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I fell apart there. I tried. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Okay, here we go. Agenda. On the agenda for today. Let's get to the agenda. All right. Also, before I dive in, thank you to everybody who's here listening. If you can, please retweet the space, or drop a comment in the thought bubble. Or a thought or a question for Robot Fish Girl. All right, here we go. So, in the Web3 news, number one, Monaverse is hosting a 10K, and that's $10,000, not 10K items. Okay, $10,000 3D object buildathon. Okay, and so I should find that tweet and put it up here. But basically, what that means is it's like a contest. Okay, it's a build some 3D objects, enter them into this contest, and you could win like some of these $10,000 they have. All right, pretty cool, I'd say. And I just posted that up there. That's one thing. That's something that I'm working on with the VR Alliance, a group that we have here of 3D enthusiasts and VR artists. Kind of the same thing. I just said the same thing twice. But anyway, that's going on. Go enter. It's running about a month and a half. I believe it ends in March 3rd. So you got time to sign up and to still be part of it. Go get it. All right. Second thing.
Question. Wait. Question.
Yeah?
Is this build any 3D object? Can it be your own PFP? Is it things related to the Monaverse? Any other details about that specifically?
Oh yes, good question. So there's like 3 different categories. So some of them are like small objects, medium objects, and then bigger objects. And then in each category, it's like some they want like trees and environment stuff and like simple furniture or simple architecture. And then some other ones are like build like a really nice centerpiece sculpture, or like build small objects like rocks, and like, so these things are going to be used in their worlds that they're creating, and they create 3D worlds. So basically what it says is not only will the winning team or like individual, because you can submit as an individual or a team, so you'll get the prize in that category that you win, but then Mona will also buy the 3D assets from you and buy the rights to have them in their like future Mona spaces. So it's pretty cool, I'd say. You know, like you can help kind of shape the way
Wow.
that their spaces are going to look later. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you know, is this the first? Are they the first to do a model like that? Just because I haven't heard something like that. I think that's genius to get your community to build these awesome objects and, you know, basically have them be included in the metaverse they're building.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I don't know if there's been that many others that have done this. They've done other build-a-thons. Mona has. They've actually done a lot of build-a-thons, which is really cool to me to see, because it's like opportunities for artists. But I haven't seen anyone else that was like, maybe Decentraland might have done this and I didn't notice. But yeah, like for them to put a call out, hey, make 3D objects, the winning ones are going to go in our metaverse, like, and we're going to pay for them. I haven't seen that much. So shout out to Mona. They did have me on a panel in New York in 2022. So, you know, they get all the love. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share on that. Any other questions, Val, before I go to number 2?
No, just very cool. Definitely shout out to Mona. I love when platforms do things like this, when they have a prize pool and, you know, give back to the artist in that way. I'm here for it. I love it. I want to see more of it. And yeah, gives me inspiration to see how we can implement this, you know, in projects and initiatives that I'm a part of. And yeah, I like that they're setting the blueprint for that for others to follow, hopefully. I love it. I love it. I like it.
Yeah, they're pretty great. They've been around for a while, and I like to give them a shout out when I can. Second thing, okay, second bit of news. All right, here we go. On second bit of news, Google is now allowing asset managers to advertise the Bitcoin ETF to a broader US audience. So basically, Google has like relaxed their advertising like rules, which I think is kind of interesting, because that means now asset managers are able to advertise on Google to potential people who might want the Bitcoin ETF. Now, I'm not telling you that you should go get it, especially not from asset managers, right? Like you can just go buy Bitcoin if you want. But it just might mean good news for the price of Bitcoin, or at least for the overall volume that goes into it. So do with that what you will. Next is and this is a robot fish girl and Brett related news that we're going to next. The Nouns Prop House round 6 ends today. So if you have a prop you want to submit, today's your last day, and the voting will be getting started very soon. I believe it starts tomorrow. I could be wrong, but let me go grab that tweet real quick. Any thoughts on that?
It usually starts as soon as the round ends.
Yeah, the round it actually ends tomorrow. Yeah, prop house round 6, garden round 6 ends January 31st, so tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST. And as soon as that's over, voting happens for 48-ish hours. And then that's it for those garden rounds and for those gardeners. It's on to the next batch after that.
On to the next batch. Oh my god.
We can talk more about how the garden rounds work in later.
Yeah, no, we could talk about we could touch on it now. I think this is good since this is the news of the minute.
I did want to share a couple news real quick too, if I can, before we jump into the garden.
Yeah, well, I wasn't meaning like let's just like go into the topic all together. I just meant kind of like let's spend 2 minutes like talking about it, and then we'll keep going on the news.
Yeah.
I can do that. So yeah, the Nouns Garden Round is, we've been having these bi-weekly garden round prop houses where basically you can submit any idea that is beneficial to nouns, and if you are in one of the top 2 slots, you will get 5 ETH. There it is for 5 ETH, any prop that you think would be beneficial to nouns in whatever way. And this can be anything from a tool like, for an on-chain tool or a Warpcaster tool or anything like that, to what I got funded for in Garden Round 1, which is literally starting a Minecraft server. So it can be anything as long as you build it around that budget of 5e. And it was normally prop house rounds in the past have been voted on by nouns holders. These are voted on by gardeners, who are an elected body of voters who get 10 votes apiece. And that is what this is. And they have done, as of now, 6 rounds. And as soon as the voting of this one is over, that is all 6 of the rounds that were planned. And they're going to presumably, they're going to submit another prop to the main DAO. And if it goes through, then we'll do another prop house round to elect more gardeners and do another few rounds of garden props. So yeah, that's how this is working. So to either first or second place, you'll get 5e. Doesn't matter which, you get the same amount. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, thank you. I think this is the shortest summary I've heard. That's concise and to the point.
I have a lot of practice. I have been explaining this thing since before round 1. So
wow. No, that's awesome. I have a quick question though about the process. I've definitely heard about the process, how the voting goes. But what about with the winners? Because I know I've seen in a few DAOs the processing of actually receiving the money, even though it's through crypto. Crypto is very streamlined. You just send it to the person's wallet, right? But sometimes DAOs can have a while until the winner receives the money. So I'm just kind of curious, like, how has that been for the winners, and like how long does it take from winning to receiving their grant?
Prop house
happens within a
is
couple days.
a on-chain protocol, and everything is instantaneous. So when you create the round, you put the ETH into the contract, and as soon as it's finished and finalized, it's just a matter of I think on the creator side, to send it, they just click the button on prop house. I don't even know if you have to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's relatively new. The first 3 prop house garden rounds were still in the old system, but even then, even without it being permissionless, I got mine within 2 days of voting ending. It's fast.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, Creatress and I have been taking a look and diving into different grants with different DAOs, trying to get some funding for things we want to create and do in the space. And a lot of these protocols seem to take a while until they can give you the funds. And so that's pretty cool to hear that you guys have a
I
system.
can tell you why that's the case.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
So look at Gitcoin, for instance. The reason Gitcoin takes so long to process and send out the funds is because you have it's basically because voting is public. So you have a massive amount of people who are voting. Thank you, Toady. A massive amount of people who are voting for every project. Then you have all these hundreds of projects. And the Gitcoin team has to go through after the fact and just basically verify that all of these votes are legitimate, and many of them are not. So they have to do a lot of sort of post-processing, or in the case of the OP stack, it's the same sort of thing. I mean, the votes are legitimate because there's a specific, ballot, but then they have to go through and double check the math. The benefit to stuff like Prop House and nouns in general is that there's really no way to game the system. It is an entirely on-chain process, and it being on-chain is the source of truth. You can't fake a prop house NFT. You can't fake a garden round NFT to be able to vote on these. It doesn't work. So even if people have submitted their votes erroneously, the winner's still the winner. That's on the people voting. That's not on the people submitting. Which is a little nerve-wracking if you're a voter. You have to be very conscious and aware of what you're doing. But it's also, very streamlined. It's very freeing. When the source of truth is whatever is on chain, it means you don't have to worry about anything else, really. So it can happen permissionlessly.
Let's go. I love permissionless. Let's go. That's awesome. Creatress, did you have any other questions for that?
No, I love that. Actually, I wasn't sure how fast the funds were dispersed, so I just learned something. Thank you, Brett. And not Robot Fish Girl, of course. You guys make an excellent team. I can see why they hired you for this.
We spent a lot of time working on, not just on air either.
Oh, okay. All right. I won't go down that way, but okay. I saw.
No,
code came up
there's a thing in the replies of exactly that thing where sometimes Brett will draw something and I'll start,
Welcome to the Noun Square. I'm
voicing it.
No.
Oh my goodness, you guys are right. I love it. Okay, hang on. Let me hang on. Just two more. There's only two more things on the agenda. Okay, before we start
I believe
asking
in you.
Robot Fish Girl more questions. And these are very important things. First of all, okay, I'll do the toad. I'm gonna do the toads update real quick first, and then I'm gonna tell you some really exciting news. Hint, hint. It's about Val.
Wait, but I also have my news too.
Yeah. Those are good news too. We'll hit those news after I give the big announcement about you. Okay, here we go. So here's the stats on the cryptodes as of today. All right, and if you don't know what cryptodes are a collection of 6,969 small amphibious creatures that were created by Gremplin, the artist known as Gremplin, with a little help from his friends. This is a public domain project, and that means you can use any of the toads however you like, even if you don't own them. So you could go on OpenSea, scroll around, pick the one you like, screenshot it, and boom, boom, pow! There you have a new fun identity. A toady
There's
event.
also a Toad Builder website where you can make your own too.
Oh, that is also news to me. Would you mind sharing that in the comments, Brett?
Sure.
Boom
Yeah,
boom pow is wild.
I don't even know what.
Anybody else get that stuck in your head the moment she said that?
I'm sorry. You know what? I actually used to hear Mike Mongo say that on Spaces, and that stuck with me. I don't know where it originated from.
Yeah, Mike has that effect on people. It's he's on the soundboard too somewhere. I'd have to find him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, shout out to Mike Mongo. Okay, back to the crypto stats, guys. See, we get off track real fast. All right, total volume.
Here, I got you.
Now back to the gas.
Total volume of cryptodes today, January 30th, is 79,179 ETH. They're almost at Code, you got hot mic. Okay, so they're almost at the 80,000 ETH volume, but not quite. Actually, they're pretty far off. So, oh my gosh, hang on. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. That's the first time I've used that. All right. Okay, 79,179 ETH total volume. All right, for the cryptodes. The floor price is at 0.8 ETH. So actually, the floor price went down from last week. Last week it was at 1 ETH. So that's nice. They're on sale today. They're on sale. This is good. 4% are listed. Only 4% out of the almost 7,000 are listed, and they have 3,864 unique owners. So most owners have about 2 toads. All right, that is the end. And also breaking news, thanks to Brett, there is a Toads Builder. So there's a website where you can go design your own toad, and then you could just save it and use it for whatever you want. You could start a new brand of merch, of apparel, of nuts, of I don't know, whatever.
Someone built it as it's a Discord bot. So if you go in their Discord and do /toad random, it just like displays a random toad, and You can select like specific tokens. You can do like the token ID, or you can do what is it called? Imagine. So you can just type in a prompt and it'll build a toad off of like a AI prompt.
That's amazing. Who's Twitter, or whose
It's in the
Discord is it?
Cryptodes Discord. It's pretty much the only thing that happens in the general chat.
Nice. And somehow it's done almost 80,000 ETH. So there you go, guys. You don't need all the fancy stuff, maybe. Just need a cool
You just need vibes.
vibe. and vibes.
Just need vibes.
All right. Well, with that, we're on to you, Val. For anyone who doesn't know, Val has a few things she wants to share, some news things. But before that, but before that, hang on. Before that, I'm about to dox Val, and by dox I mean tell you all that it's her birthday this week. Happy birthday!
Yay! Thank you. Woo! I'll dox myself. I will be 33, lucky 33 years old. I'm proud to say my age. I know a lot of people are like, no, don't disclose my age. I'm excited and happy to get older. I'm more wiser every year, and I've just given another year of love to friends and family and to myself. So I'm here for it. I love it, and I love celebrations. And thank you, Creatress, for that highlight. But yeah, February 2nd is my birthday. I also share a birthday with the soccer player Gerard Piqué and his ex-wife, I think now, Shakira. So yeah, I know that their marriage didn't last, but they have beautiful children. Anyways, yeah, Groundhog's Day and share a birthday with Shakira. We should really highlight Shakira more. So
yeah, you could have just said you share a birthday with Shakira, and I would have been like, really, really impressed. Just saying, who knows about that other dude?
Every year I wish her happy birthday on her Instagram. Like every year, I can't miss it.
Wasn't PK on Barcelona at one point?
Yeah, I think so. He was.
Yeah, give me my flowers.
Well, we know he at least has good taste. All right, we'll give him that. He's got good taste. Okay, all right. Val, do you want to share your news now?
Yeah, I'll share my news. I feel like, oh my God, we're building up the news, but I mean, it's not as big as I feel like we've hyped it up. But number one, I wanted to announce I've been accepted into the East Denver Hackathon. Yeah, so this is my second year that I will officially be part of the hackathon. Last year I was a part of it, and by no means am I a dev, so I don't do any of that techie stuff, but I definitely enjoy working alongside them. And a lot of times they need skills. They need people with the skills that can speak, do UX design, and who can do decks and stuff. All that what takes to present a project at East Denver. So this year I've been accepted, and we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a team yet. I don't know if I'll do something by myself, or maybe I'll find someone, just going there. We'll see, but I'm excited to see how I elevate myself this year, because last year I didn't submit a project. I had an idea. I was going down the rabbit hole, but I learned a lot. They have a lot of great mentors on site that you can talk to make sure everything's legally compliant with your project. How does the UX design look like? You can literally go from like start to finish of what like your plan would look like if the idea of the project you had were to be created and funded. So it's pretty cool. I learned that. So we'll see if I actually take part in like actually putting a whole project together. So we shall see, but I'm here for it. I love learning. And speaking of learning, my second announcement was you can now be a part of Camp Biddle, which is part of East Denver. What is Camp Biddle? So this year they're powered by Chainlink. So shout out to Chainlink. They're sponsoring this camp. And so you can actually apply and you can complete a free 6-day intensive boot camp. So the curriculum is aimed at new developers and designers wanting to take their Web3 skills to the next level. And so the boot camp concludes with a 3-day buildathon ending March 3rd. So that is the main event from February 28th through March 3rd. And then their accelerated program is designed to equip you with the essential tools to develop and submit a completed project for the buildathon. So it's free if you are an accepted applicant. So definitely go to their website if you're interested and apply. So I think I'm going to apply to this, even though I know it says it's aimed at devs and designers. I think they're usually pretty welcoming to those who are non-techie like myself. Like I mentioned, if you have graphic design skills, UX design, if you're a great speaker, like to present, these projects needs those type of people as well. So highly encouraged to get involved and come out to East Denver. It's coming up right around the corner.
Cody, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Every time you do that, Bell, I don't know, man. This shit has me cracking up. But anyway, yeah. So Valerie, with the coding and whatnot, well, I don't know if y'all are doing a bunch of code and stuff, but so with the UX and stuff, does that require like the wireframes and stuff like that, so you know exactly what's going where, like what's going in the what would I say, the sections and whatnot?
I'm not a UX designer by any means, so UX the frames, not familiar with the terminology there. You might be asking the wrong person here.
Yeah, maybe Val.
All good.
Sorry, Code. I was just gonna say, Val, maybe if you could post the link to the East Denver site where you were looking at.
It was in an email I received. But I can definitely post in the reply the link. Of course, always be careful like clicking on links. So just wanted to disclose that disclaimer there. But if you feel like you trust me, you can click on the link. I'll have San Diego NFT Friends post it up, so it should be there. Let me know if you see it in the comments. Do you see that, Creatress? I think San Diego.
Yeah, I just saw it come up.
Okay, yeah. So if you're interested, that's the link to apply right there. But yeah. There's always people, like if you maybe have questions like how CodeWalker just did, they have mentors there that can help you walk through the process. If you're stuck on something, if you're stuck on code, if you're stuck on whatever it is, there's literally mentors there who help. And you can always ask questions in the East Denver website. There's a section for coders and builders too. So if you ever want someone to like look through your code, or maybe even if you have a bounty and you want someone to look for bugs, like you can do really awesome things like that in their Discord.
All right. And with no further ado, back to Robot Fish Girl question. So
wait. One more thing about East Denver.
Oh,
I just pinned it up to the top because tomorrow is the deadline for art submissions to be in their art gallery for the event. So there's like a little thread talking about what's going on specifically, and they're going to auction off some of the artwork and how to do all that. And then there's a link to submit, and that ends tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, Brett, I swear you always come in with the real alpha. I actually mentioned that to Val today. I was like, oh, I gotta hurry up and do that. And I forgot to mention it. Like, what? Yes, thank you. So
I've had the tab open for like 2 weeks and I haven't submitted anything yet.
Oh my god.
Why are you like this?
Are we the same person?
I have stuff and I'm like, no, it's not good enough. So I'm working on something else. I'm like, I don't want to submit that.
Perfect is the enemy of done. Just do it.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah, all right. That I need to take that advice. I do also need to just do it and submit. But that's on my to-do list for later. Later, guys, later. I'll do it off air. I gotta focus here. I gotta focus. All right, Robot Fish Girl. How did you come up with that name?
She's half robot, half fish, half girl.
Yeah, basically.
That's like one and a half. That's too much. That's 3
No,
parts.
it works out. The math works out. By the way, next time we're all in New York, we need to go to karaoke together. I didn't know y'all did that. I wanted to go last time, but by the time we were gonna go, the only people who wanted to go were like Uptoshi and Sheffo because everybody else was too tired and drunk.
Wait, to go
Anyway,
where? To go where? Oh,
karaoke.
karaoke. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. It's done.
Mostly because it's fun to see people who don't know me have their reaction because I sound like this when I'm talking and then start, the summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. Like, and nobody sees it coming.
Wow, I'm shocked, and we absolutely need to make karaoke happen now. That's insane.
Yeah, well, it helps that I look like my PFP. Like, I look like this is based on a selfie of me, the little anime girl that's floating around in the water. So my hair is that color.
I was gonna say, yes. Do you have multicolored hair?
Yep. I mean, not at the moment. I let it fade, but usually it is, blue ombre to purple. So
Wow, the ombre. I like it. I need to see this in person. And I'm
She does
sure
have
it
a robot
adds.
arm too.
You have the robot arm
yeah.
too?
Well, I mean, I don't have like they're still mostly flesh. But I I do have implants. I have subdermal implants that let me that are NFCs in both wrists. So I can do
Whoa.
stuff like Jedi mind trick doors open and stuff like that. So I have cyborg arms. I don't have fully robotic arms yet.
Okay, let's dive into that. Like, when did you implement this? What was the idea? Like, I need to have NFC chips in my arms.
Well, so I have a somewhat complicated backstory. In that I don't really say no to things until I've tried them twice, unless the first time was a fluke. Um, I was doing Disney work since I was 2. Literally, at least twice a year, I've worked for Disney since I was like 2.5, 3 years old. Starting in what is that bell?
Just anytime something like of importance
training
is
us
said.
to
Yeah,
sound
I feel like I'm getting
Salivate.
Pavloved. Like,
Yep.
It's like, here's a key point. Like, that was wild. You
Yeah.
just said you've been working with Disney since you were. I'm like, that sounds cool.
welcome
like,
to There's Layers to This, where you get clicker trained live on air. But
Exactly.
We need that as a soundboard.
Oh God, no. But yeah, so I started doing like Disney commercials when I was that young, and then as I got older, when I was a teenager, my mom was an Imagineer, so I was like I did all the casting for the groundbreaking of the Disney Olani, and then I did most of the casting for the shows when it was actually finished getting built. And I wrote like 3 of them that we had on launch of that hotel, and then and then I was also handling all the local Hawaii auditions for Disney Tokyo for a long time. After that, I went to college because this was all in high school and not strictly speaking legal, but we'll ignore that. And then I went to college and I started as an opera major, and then after a year, it started getting too heavily into the classical pedagogy, so I switched to being a vocal jazz major. And this is the thing about how raunchy am I allowed to be on this show?
Yeah, you can be as raunchy as you want. We just try not to do
Great.
F-bombs. That's all.
Yeah, great, fantastic. So the thing about getting a performing arts degree is it's a lot like a Nerf vibrator. It's nice to look at, but it doesn't really do much. Not terribly useful. I can't think of a better metaphor. That's why I asked.
Can't possibly think of a better metaphor either.
But so I after majoring in unemployment, or while majoring, in music, I've always, the reason I did that is because I've always been good with computers. And I knew that I could get a job doing, IT work pretty much anywhere. I am not a dev by any stretch. But I am competent enough with dev work. In much the same way that I'm only conversational in like 3 languages, but I can meet Tarzan Eugene my way through like 2 dozen. I'm good enough at a lot of things that I knew I'd be fine. So I felt safe majoring in music. In the process, I had a lot of friends that were because I was up in Westchester, but I had a lot of friends that were in New York City who were majoring in medicine of various stripes. And, you basically don't give an amateur engineer with an interest in body hacking access to topical anesthetic. I put a lot of stuff. My first implant was actually I hooked a small like bullet vibrator up to a Bluetooth receiver, and I put it in a wax packet and implanted it in my arm against my bone so that I could hit a button on my phone and my arm would vibrate.
Oh my God. What? What? Oh my God.
The main reason was so that my phone could be completely silent and I could still field notifications.
Oh
wow.
My mind is blown right now. Like, Brett, did you know this? Do you already know this?
Me? This is why I brought it up. I think it's fascinating.
It absolutely is.
I should clarify. 1, you should not do this. 2, I was blackout drunk and would not have done this sober.
So did you do this on yourself, or did you go to someone professionally to do it?
No, I did it on myself in my dorm room.
Wow. And how old were you at this point?
20.
Wow. Do you still have it then?
No, I had to take it out. The battery died. I put a new one in that has an induction charger, but then I had to take that one out too because it started leaking stuff into my arm. It's probably fine.
God, implants sound like they got a whole lot of.
Well, no. So the reason I did the NFC chips, those are actually like professionally done. The NFC implants that I have, you can actually buy online for like $100, and go to literally pretty much any tattoo shop, and it comes with like a syringe. So as long as you're in a sanitary environment, they can just shove it in your arm and inject it pretty much. And then to program it, it's entirely wireless. They don't have an internal battery, because it's all magnetic pretty much. So I can just hold it over my phone or over like a Flipper Zero and reprogram whatever I want into it. So at the moment, my left arm has the key card for like my apartment's laundry room, and my right arm has like business card stuff. And then I've got one in my neck that has contact information, medical info, anything like that, under one of my tattoos. But
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So like, have you implemented any Web3 onto these NFC chips, like Mint?
Other than I did a POAP one year. I put a POAP vending machine in my arm. That was fun.
That's cool.
For NFT NYC.
Oh my gosh. So
it didn't work consistently because I had to have my phone open in order for the link to work. So it didn't work that great. Most people didn't want to turn on NFC, understandably.
Right.
But the few people who did tap it thought it was really cool. Now I mostly just put contact info. Most people don't want to interact with anything on chain when it's in somebody's skin.
What does that say about me? Because I totally would. Like, I want to experience that sometime. Like, if you ever do it again.
I probably will.
Let's make a karaoke po-op when we go out. Put it on your neck.
All right. Yeah, it sounds like a plan. But yeah, I've got those, and I've got a little bit of Bluetooth storage I put in my calf.
Bluetooth storage in your calf.
Yeah, that was another one of those. I got too drunk and thought it was a good idea at the time.
Wow.
That one does have an induction charging feature, and it uses the same battery that you find in like a Samsung watch. So I literally just like tape a watch charger to my leg and plug it in to charge it up.
Wow. Has anyone has anyone asked you about that? Like, hey, why do you have
Oh, sure. Every time I go through airport security.
Oh yeah. What happens then? Like you gotta explain to them what you got going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trans, so I already get, pulled over for that. And I hit the trifecta. Like I've got a whole bunch of implants. There's stuff that would be showing up on the scans that they're not expecting regardless, and I'm brown. So it just doesn't.
Wow.
Trifecta indeed.
Wait, hold up. Am I hearing this right? Like, do you have like robot type or robotic type shit in your body?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? Oh
no, I have
He is a
NFC
cyborg.
implants in my wrists. I've got wireless storage in my leg, and then I've also got a vibrator in my right forearm.
Oh no.
Yeah. Not to mention all the various like piercings and other body mods I have.
Oh my gosh, this is so
like
wild.
real life Cyberpunk 2077.
That is the goal. Yes.
Wow.
I'm thinking Nebula. Like I'm getting Nebula vibes, and
the person who's injecting hormones once a week is into body hacking. Who would have guessed?
Right. But I didn't know about the hormones, so I'm surprised by all of it.
Did you think that me dropping my voice like this was just talent?
I
could have been
This
AI.
isn't the soundboard. That's organic.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point because you have so many different talents. Like when we were talking about your like career, like I feel like we should have stopped a lot of times to like dig in deeper into every single thing. But in the interest of time, we didn't. But like, yeah, that I wasn't really that surprised to be honest. But
yeah, most of my VO work is character work. So I've done, WoW orcs, I've done Borderlands psychos, stuff like that. Basically, if it's some angry person screaming at you in a gravelly voice, there's like a solid chance it might have been me.
Wait, you have voiced orc?
Loktar victory or death. Yeah, that's there's some of those are me.
In Lord of the Rings?
No, in World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Well, that's still
even
cool.
cooler.
That's still pretty cool.
Oh my god.
It's fun.
That is so awesome. You've got to be one of the most interesting guests we've had on our show.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
By far. And yeah, are you planning any other new implants coming in the future?
I don't know.
Neuralink? How do you feel about Neuralink?
I absolutely not.
I
am
don't
not
think
doing it.
The other ones were planned.
No, yeah. Here's the thing that you need to understand is that I make plans, not expectations, and my plans are usually about 5 minutes in advance. I got those were planned in that it took like 2 weeks for them to ship to me, but beyond that, it was a whim.
I was gonna say, if you ever want to become a hotspot, Creatrison and I need hotspots sometimes for our
I should do
real
that.
life.
The thing is, I would have to, in order for that to work, it would have to be hooked up to a cellular network, so it would be difficult. I would have to like pay a subscription on it.
Have an antenna coming out of your head?
No, I wouldn't want it coming out of my head. I'd want to hook it up to like an arm or something so that I could get better reception. Why am I actually entertaining this?
Right, because that way you could point your arm, or you could like raise your arm to get like better signal, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
like the old TVs where you have to like move around and stand on one leg and.
Old TVs, I still have to do that on occasion.
Yeah, we have to raise our Starlink satellite pretty high up still, too. So they have not fixed that problem. I joke.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
you know the struggle. You know the struggle of Hawaii internet or lack thereof.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And you know what the thing is about the Starlink, which is actually really good. But the problem is if the tree, like for me, the trees around our house are taller than our house. So even though we put the Starlink dish on the roof of the house, it still gets blocked by the trees. So it's just, it's still a struggle, to be honest. But
We
hey,
would have worse internet depending on the time of year because we were in the back of Kalihi Valley. And so it like sometimes we would just like I guess the satellites were getting blocked by the mountains or something. Because my backyard was about maybe 30 feet deep, but it was such a steep hill that the end of it was about like the back wall of the backyard was twice the height of the house. It was practically vertical. So we had similar problems, only instead of trees, it was just with solid rock.
Yeah, if y'all anybody hasn't been to Hawaii, like a lot of people's properties are not on like a nice flat little field, y'all. Like it's a lot of really steep downhill driveways or really steep uphills, or like some people live right
A lot
on
of verticality, and it's
yeah,
not by choice.
not at all. People, you gotta building on lava rock is really hard. It's like really hard to work around. So people just have to kind of like fit in where they get in out there. So yeah, but enough about Wi-Fi and enough about Hawaii. Although Hawaii's great, shout out to everybody. You said something about working on a Disney show. Was it in Hawaii or something like that?
I've done a lot for Disney. So yeah, I started in commercials. If you've ever seen like Disney Cruise Line commercials or Pal Mickey, that you remember that old Mickey doll that you could walk around the park and squeeze his hand? Like you would walk around Epcot and he'd be like, "Welcome to Japan," like all that stuff. So that I did the commercials for those when I was like 6.
Were you
So
acting in the commercials?
yeah.
Just like being like a fun little child, like having fun in Disney, basically. Oh, how fun!
I was on a lot of billboards around Orlando because I was living in Orlando until I was 10. I was born in Orlando. So this accent that I have
sense.
now, because I was born actually in like I was born in Apopka, so sort of the the shitty part. But my original accent is not like this. If I drop the cultivated accent, my original accent's a drawl. So this is what I was born speaking with, and then as I got older, I didn't want the stereotypes that went with that, so I neutralized it into this, generic American, vaguely mid-Atlantic type deal. um, but yeah, that's the part of Florida I was living in. So I was on a lot of Disney billboards and stuff like that, and buses. My birth family were so annoyed when they kept seeing my face everywhere because one of my birth siblings looks very similar to me. Like we're 2 years apart, but we could be twins. And they were like, "It's so frustrating because everybody thinks that's me."
As if that's such a bad thing. Like, oh, someone thought that was me on a billboard the other day. How could they?
It's annoying if you're not in like they're very introverted and I'm very not. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, that was me. That's totally me. I met Nikki. Like, yeah.
But yeah, so I was doing that in Orlando, and then when I was 10, we moved back to Hawaii, where my mom's from, and I was there every summer before then. But then we were there full time, and that's when I started. I was still doing, Disney voiceover stuff whenever they needed a kid, but mostly I was helping her with more admin level stuff, and that's when I started doing like casting work for the Disney Aulani. So we did the groundbreaking ceremony, which was a huge deal. And then after the hotel was built, that took about like 3 or 4 years. And they needed people to write shows. So we wrote the Character Breakfast show, and then the Starlit Hui show. If anybody's been to the Disney Aulani, that was one of mine, which was like the luau that they did after sunset every night out on one of the lawns. Yeah, that was one of mine.
That is
And then I was
so
also helping
cool.
out with like all annual auditions for like the Polynesian resort in Tokyo. So
Yeah, that I mean, that just sounds like a dream, honestly. Like growing up, I was always into Disney stuff. I've never been to Orlando. Well, I've never been to Disney there, Disney World, but just living in SoCal and going sometimes, like, just thinking about like the people that build the shows, because there's so many
it's
shows. It's just so wild. That sounds
yeah.
so cool.
I got my equity card by performing on Disney Cruise Lines. So which was a fantastic experience that I never want to repeat. Uh awful, awful job. I don't
Yeah.
regret it, but if you are not eminently prepared to be miserable, don't work on a cruise.
Oh my gosh. I
The
heard
only
someone.
good part of doing, because I was Aladdin for 6 months, the only good part of doing a Disney cruise is having the kids that are there. Especially with like the Disney hug rule, which has started getting more attention in the media recently. Do you know about this?
No, tell me more.
The Disney hug rule is probably one of my favorite things about being a character performer at Disney, which is that if you are in character, so if you're playing a Disney princess or Aladdin, or you're in, one of the costumes, like a Mickey costume or whatever, um, basically, the Disney hug rule is if a child gives you a hug and you hug them back, you are not allowed to break off that hug. The child has to break it off because you never know how bad they need that hug. They have to be the one to break it, and then you let them go. You cannot be the one to let them go first. And the reason that's significant is because sometimes these kids really, really need it. I was Aladdin on one of these cruises. And, it's a Disney cruise. And if you've never been on a Disney cruise, let's just say that like if I don't go into the sun, I can get light enough to be confused for a tanned white girl. But I was like one of the highest concentrations of melanin on this boat. So there was this one kid who came up to me when I was dressed as Aladdin because I was doing shows, doing the whole, I can show you the world like every day. And so this kid was coming up, and I literally, no exaggeration, this little boy was clinging to my side for like 45 minutes. And everybody else got one-armed hugs for a while, but he was one of like maybe 2 dozen kids on board that was like a similar complexion to me. Total out of, however many hundreds.
Wow.
So, it's a good rule.
Yeah. That's so sweet that you can provide the comfort that they may need. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know
Working for Disney is a fantastic experience if you are prepared for it, but it is also suffice it to say, every other job I've ever had has been much easier. I work
even
80-hour
Web3.
weeks on the Noun Square. Oh, easily. I work 60 to 80-hour weeks on the Noun Square, and I'm still like, yeah, this is fine. This is normal. What?
Well, let's talk now more a little bit about that Web3 transition. Like, who introduced you to Web3? Did you stumble upon articles, like YouTube? Like, how did that happen?
It was through my my best friend's brother actually owned a metaverse company. And I won't go into too many details because I think a lot of people here might know him. But I was working as the community manager there. I needed to get out of my old job because I was getting super burned out on IT. This was 2 years ago. So this was after, years of the pandemic, having to do IT during that. And it was just, I was so burnt out. I had been working in IT for 5 years. And it was just not fun anymore. I really liked it when I got there. And then by the time 5 years had passed, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I need to move on. And so I had done community management work before, and I went, yeah, sure, I'll do this metaverse company. And that, this was pretty much 2 months into me working there, ETH crashed. It went from, 5 ETH being worth like 5K to being worth like 1,200 practically overnight. You remember that?
Yeah.
In like
Yep, I remember
May.
that. Yep.
Yeah. So after that, I mean, this metaverse company, which I do really miss it because I thought it was a really cool project. It wasn't like one of the bigger metaverses; it was small, bespoke metaverses for individual communities. And that didn't go so well, and a bunch of us got laid off. And I think I was the first name on that list, which understandable. If you're just trying to save as much money as possible, you don't need somebody to shit post on Twitter for you. So that was and that was basically what I was doing. So I got laid off from there. And unfortunately, the company didn't last much longer after that. But I had already been engaged in the Nouns ecosystem because we were actually doing something for Nounsel. We were building an environment for them. Just before then, and so I started getting more engaged in the Nouns Discord. And so it was really quick. It was like I spent like 2-3 months, like 2.5 months, doing community management as my day job, and then I jumped straight into Nouns. And it was mostly, I was there while I was job hunting for other things. But then this retro reward round happened for I want to say Prop 63. And yeah, that I made like 2 ETH from that, and that covered my rent for a while, which I was nervous about. I was starting to get nervous about, and then after that, I was like, you know what? It's a gamble, but I think I might be able to actually survive off of doing these retro reward rounds. And I knew I was going to have to work my ass off because, you know, but this was also, shortly after I had transitioned publicly, and so it was a lot harder to find a job that I wasn't terrified of. Like I knew for my own safety's sake, I would probably have to find something I could do remotely. Um, and this worked out really well, and so I started getting really into that. For a while I was doing like proposal incubators because I've always been, I have an education minor, um and so I've always been good at proofreading and stuff like that, so I was doing that for a lot of people, and made some ETH from that. And then I started working for the Noun Square doing video editing, and it's been all downhill from there now. I've been working at TNS ever since, as well as engaging in other projects, occasionally, like my own, like Nouncraft, for instance, or helping out with food nouns, or I did some work for Gami for a little while. Like I've been all over the place, just helping out, and mostly, primarily, getting funded through retro funding. I do something that I think people might find valuable, and maybe 40% of the time I get paid for it. And that is not sustainable for everybody, but luckily I'm a workaholic and I enjoy just doing stuff. So even if I don't get, I need to get paid for some things in order to sustain the habit of building random crap. But so far it's worked out pretty well. I've since left New York. I'm in North Carolina now, just to save money, and because it's kinder in capital gains here is capped at 4.99%. Um, but other than that, that's basically all I've been doing is just doing random stuff, whatever strikes my fancy, as well as obviously still having all of my other. I'm still teaching music theory online. I'm still doing private voice lessons for people. I'm still doing voice acting. I'm still I've always had a whole lot of gravy trains. That's how I paid for college. Um, so I'm still doing all of that, as well as primarily working on stuff here.
Very cool. You got the hustler mindset there. Just
Yeah, that was the first college job. No, I'm kidding. Uh, well, half kidding.
So I wanted to ask you though, since you're so involved and you help out a lot with nouns, do you yourself have a noun?
Nope.
Wow,
I do not. I
Not
have
yet.
yeah,
Not
not
yet.
yet.
not yet. I have a fair bit of voting power just through Nouncil. But no, I do not have any nouns either that I own or that are delegated to me at the moment.
But now, you guys at Nouns have implemented where you can nominate someone, right, to get a noun.
I mean, kinda. There was the fork that happened, right? And I don't know how much you know about the fork, but to summarize, we had a bunch of people come in who basically saw an RFV opportunity. Um, and they armed the treasury. So basically, a bunch of people came in. They bought a whole bunch of nouns. There's a playbook for this. They sowed, you know, ferment and discord in the discords, um, and basically got a forking mechanism implemented, and then forked off with a big chunk of ETH, and then immediately, basically the way the fork works is they branch off into their own new DAO, at which point they can rage quit from there, and that protects Nouns DAO from all of the issues that come with a rage quit button vis-a-vis legally being classified as a security. But that happened, and the treasury practically disappeared overnight because of these assholes. But as a result, when they fork their nouns that they hold, return to the treasury. They don't get burned. They go back to the treasury. And so that's what a lot of people are doing now is these nouns that were sent back to the treasury, people are putting in proposals to get them, as well as there was recently a prop house round to reward 3 builders with a noun each. And the winners for that were Ben Body, Prof. Werder, and Mike Good, all of whom have been around as long as I have. So, if not longer in 2 cases. So, yeah.
Yeah, congrats to the winners of that. I think that was like a really tough race there.
I didn't even enter. I was like, this is stress I don't need.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, oh man, that's gonna be a tough race as soon as people started proposing. So I'm glad they got it. I think you should enter next time. Because I definitely think
there's been talk of turning that into a perpetual round.
Oh yeah.
There's been other talk of some. There's also, I mean, we've got a prop up right now, and I think it's still up. The Orca to Orca, which is to give an Orca noun. Yeah, it ends in 21 hours. It's to give a noun to Coral Orca, who's been around for forever and is responsible for Nouns 3D, which is a project that has been extant since I got into Web3. And yeah, just a very, very consistent voice in the space, and was also behind the collab that Nouns had with John Hamon, the French artist. Coral Orca is the one who put us together with him. So yeah, Prop 490 is to give him a noun. So that's happening too, is some people are being nominated, through actual on-chain proposals to get nouns, and then some. But so that's a possibility. But frankly, I'll probably just buy one someday.
Let's go. Well, either way, I'm certain that you'll get one before long, to be honest. And you definitely
Eventually.
one. What's that?
Eventually.
Yeah. There's no rush. It's blockchains forever. What's the rush?
What would your perfect noun look like? What traits would it have?
Oh, we minted it recently.
Oh, really? What were the traits?
Yeah, pretty much everything but the glasses were absolutely perfect. And I know because I'm the one who minted it. That is something that people might not know, but yeah, it was now 987. And I was looking for some way to get it, and I was just like, you know what, I can't afford this. But it's got the pufferfish head, it's got the robot accessory. The body matches the head, and then Ideally, it would have had blue noggles instead of green noggles, but this is fine.
You'll make do.
Yeah, but now 987, January 21st, 2024 was when we minted that one, and by we I mean me. That's something that people might not know. So through TNS, we've actually originally Nouns had this game called FOMO, right? And that's what the that's what Noun O'Clock at the Noun Square was built around. It was originally we were just called Noun O'Clock. It wasn't called the Noun Square. And it started with just watching the end of the auction and then playing FOMO nouns. So, the timer would count down, the auction would be over, we'd all open FOMO this sound would play.
Time for FOMO.
And that didn't happen until later when I recorded it. But then we'd play this game where essentially we just vote up or vote down on nouns that were, because nouns are randomly generated, right? But they're randomly generated through the block ID that is happening when they are settled, which means that through the use of an oracle, which is what FOMO nouns is, you can see what noun will be minted if you settle the noun right now in this block. FOMO nouns worked through that principle where if enough people voted thumbs up on a noun, it would automatically settle the auction. And there was a bunch of ETH in the FOMO nouns contract. This meant that people didn't have to spend ETH to settle the noun. They didn't have to pay gas because it was in the contract. And it also meant that, the noun every day was voted on by everybody. Unfortunately, when we were going through the fork, somebody with no friends set up a bot to civil attack FOMO. And it was every noun, as soon as FOMO started, was getting like 57 upvotes and immediately settling.
It was also at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So we were stuck at 5 a.m. for weeks.
Yeah. The Noun O'Clock follows the end of the nouns auction, and since its inception, we've gone around the clock 5 times, maybe 6, because it drifts forward every day, right? For this, it was not drifting forward at all. The only way we could push forward the auction is to have a bidding war at the end of the auction, pushing the timer out, which wasn't happening. So, yeah. That was exhausting, and eventually we got in contact with the devs for FOMO nouns, and we got them to turn off its ability to settle. And ever since then, that was in like April of last year. And ever since then, almost every day has been settled by either Toady Hawk or me. So we've been playing, instead of, regular FOMO.
Time for FOMO.
We've been playing a janky version.
Time for janky FOMO.
Oh my God.
Where people would upvote or downvote on FOMO nouns, and then when we saw a noun that was really good or that enough people voted up on, we just manually settle. And to date, let's see. This is gonna hurt to look at.
Are you gonna tell us how much you spent on gas?
I'm about to, yeah.
Oh my God. Everybody hold on to your chonies.
This hasn't been updated for a while. So these are stats that are about 3 months old. But as of 3 months ago, Toady had settled 139 nouns and spent about 2 ETH on gas, 1.9. And I had minted 77 nouns and had spent about 1 ETH on gas. That has since gone up a lot for both of us. So those are old numbers. But we've put a lot of we've supported the Ethereum validators quite a bit on the Noun Square.
Jeez, don't tell them. Yeah, they can't say we're not doing our part. And I'm saying but I mean you guys really.
But yeah, we've been manually set. So that's why a lot of you can tell a lot of the time who settled what. If the noun looks gay as hell, it was probably me.
Any type of rainbow accessory or pufferfish.
That's usually me. Toady settles a lot of toads, obviously. Yeah, my favorite heads tend to be like, I really like the fox. I really like the heart. I've settled a lot of pickles, a lot of like monochromatic nouns. Toady and I both like. Yeah, you can look back through the history of nouns and you could usually guess who did what.
And you can see which ones we settled and which ones we got rugged on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is
You can
so
see
fun.
that I was hosting for 3 days in a row with 733, 734, and 735 because it's 2 rainbow accessories and a decayed pickle.
So you're basically now able to like influence the like culture of nouns by
We have been
like
for a year.
well,
To
I
no
know,
small
but
degree.
I mean like
Between Toady and I, we have
nouns.
a couple people. Yeah, to no small degree. No, that's what I'm talking about. To no small degree, Toady and I have basically, mostly Toady, but it's about 2/3 Toady and about 1/3 me, have been essentially controlling what nouns get minted.
Wow, so much for
And if anybody would like to
decentralization.
help, please come to 9 o'clock live at the Noun Square every 24 hours.
Yeah, sometimes you can, if you're loud enough, you can jump scare RFG and she'll click the button by accident.
I hate you.
Oh my god, this is so fun. And Val, I just told Val the other day actually that there's like the nouns builder, right? So if you want to have your own noun, and okay, yeah, you could pay 5 ETH and get into the auction every day. But for those of us who
It's the
maybe
playground,
don't have
yeah.
the 5, what was that?
It's the playground. Nouns builder is a different thing, but yes.
Oh, okay. So it's called. Can you say the thing?
The thing you're talking about is if you go to nouns.wtf and you go to, or nouns.wtf/playground, you can pick out traits and build a noun and just RCSA that shit.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I was.
That is the playground.
I don't know why I call him builder. You guys have too many things named different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things named noun something.
Yes, we do. Lots of things.
Lots of nouns.
Nouns.camp, nouns builder. Nouns builder is its own thing that was launched by the team over at Zora, which is what you do. So nouns, the playground nouns are what you do if you want to get the art for a noun. And you don't want to mint it on chain. You just want like a JPEG. Or you can take that and you can mint it yourself if you want. CC0, you can do whatever you want with it. Nouns builder is if you go, I'm going to make my own DAO with blackjack and hookers, and you want to build your own nouns DAO. And it lets you just upload traits and launch, and it's really fast. I think Prof made the Flamingo DAO in a grand total of like 4 minutes and 36 seconds or something like that. She collected all the traits beforehand, but actually the process of putting it on chain was really fast. Expensive and gas to do it on mainnet, but still pretty quick.
That sounds pretty cool.
And
yeah,
actually, the Yellow Collective.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I know. I know how to do my job.
Oh my gosh, is Brett trying to mansplain? What?
No.
Yes,
not
I
in
am.
this space.
Yes.
He's
We're
trying
gonna have
to.
kick you down.
He's trying to remind me. The Yellow
I'm
Collective
playing,
was
I'm
built
playing.
on Nouns Builder, and is on base, which is the on-chain club that we have through TNS that we started at TNS.
Speaking of base,
base.
I just pinned up something at the top.
Lord.
You gotta swipe one over, right? But Robot Fish Girl, I know we mentioned I made a little something, and I thought of a name. It's called Recuerdito. For those of you who don't know Spanish, it means like a little memento or like a little like kind of like a party favor, but not the party favors you are thinking about. I'm like when you go to a baby shower and they give you like a cute little thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about when you went to Vegas. I'm talking about So anyway, I made a little recuerdito.
It's a memento.
Yeah, there it is.
That's cute.
There you go. And
Looks
I made
not
it on
dissimilar. I have those earphones on my model.
It was meant to be. It was clearly meant to be. So there's my rendition of Robot Fish Girl using AI and video as the what is it called, the medium. So there you go. If y'all want it, it's on base. It's 0.002 ETH, And if you don't know how to bridge to base, I could probably whip up a link for you. But it's pretty cool once you use it.
Actually, if you want to do an easy way to get to it, yellowcollective.xyz. We've got a bridge to base on the site.
Let's go. Okay, so if you want to mint this recuerdito, right, you go to yellowcollective. Yellow.collective, was it?
Yellowcollective.xyz.
Boom. Yellowcollective.xyz. I'm going to do a little banner with it. And yeah, so you can go there, you can bridge some ETH to base, and then you can mint this, you can go do all sorts of fun stuff on base. You can mint your own NFTs on base. You could go get a base paintbrush and be part of that whole thing. We didn't talk about base paintbrush, but let me tell you, it's pretty fun. Pixel painting. We won't go down that
base
rabbit
paint
hole,
is very fun.
but it is fun. What was that?
I was just saying base paint is very fun. Also, every time I don't know why my brain is we were talking about Disney so much earlier that I just have the like monorail speech stuck in my head of the like, please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas. Like that's just all that's going through my brain.
That's all that goes through my brain anyway.
Oh my gosh, I can't with you guys. This has been a really good show. All right, we're gonna
Stand clear of the closing doors, please. The next Uptown train to Harlem, 148th Street, will be arriving in 3 years. I used to have so much fun with that when I was in college. When I would go to the city for something, I'd get like a tiny amp, like a battery-powered amp, and I'd stick it in a backpack. And I got like the wired headphones that had the mic in the cord. I took one of those and I cut it apart and I soldered the ends together so that I could just use the mic as like a lav mic without having the headphone parts. I plugged it into the thing and then I would just do like basically like ventriloquism stuff where I would just stand on a subway platform and make fake announcements.
Oh my gosh. I think I've said this before, but I think it would be really fun to do like improv with you sometimes.
To do that?
So fun.
I used to do stand up in the city.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I did a whole bit of not people being confused about my ethnicity, and then I would explain that I'm what people call ethnically ambiguous unless you're the NYPD, in which case the technical term is catch and release.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I cannot with you. I just want to say I do empathize because I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of on that line where it's like I could
nobody knows.
In some situations I could pass, but in other situations it's very clear I'm like the Mexican person in the chat. Which is fine. I'm proud of it. It's cool, but it's an interesting experience to go through life with, and it does make for a lot of interesting.
It's fun to talk about in New York because it was fun to look out in the audience and see everybody with a hint of melanin be laughing at it, and everybody else just clenched so hard they inhaled their chairs.
Oh my god, I can't. All right, with that. I want to go to Val. I also want to go to Code because he's been hanging with us. I know you chimed in a few times, but if you have any closing thoughts or question, now's your chance.
Yeah, no, this was great. I'm so appreciative that you came on here, Robot Fish Girl. It's been such a blast and a pleasure to hear your journey and just everything you've been a part of, everything that you're involved in right now. And I'm going to be advocating for you now to get your noun. It's not a matter of if, but when, considering how much gas you've spent and all the things you've done and helped out in the ecosystem. I can't think of anyone more deserving of a noun next than you. So wishing you, sending you lots of positive vibes that will come sooner than later. And yeah, I'm appreciative of everyone who's tuned in and who stayed from beginning to end. This has been a fantastic show, and I hope you've tuned into our live stream. We've always got some fun little cool visuals, and we've also got your PFPs up displayed on there. So wave high if you want with your emojis. You're on camera on our live stream. But hello, yeah, send your waves. But it's been great. And yeah, definitely if you guys got like recommendations who we should have as our guest next. I know we've mentioned Prof Warder a few times on our show, so I'm thinking maybe we'll reach out to her. Yes, Prof and I go way back during Pullapathon times, and haven't caught up with her in a while. So it'd be great to catch up with her. So maybe we'll get her on. But yes, this was great. Also, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. And yeah, just wishing everyone a great rest of the week. And yeah, I'll bring it over to Code if he has any last words.
Any last words? No. Brett.
Forever hold your peace.
Brett, do you have any thoughts? Any last question for RBG? I mean RFG.
0 thoughts.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Brett?
Yeah, the doors are closing. I need to get to my train.
Oh, okay. Yes, indeed. All right. And
I love that you did that news segment earlier, by the way. That's so fun. I kept coming up with riffs, and I need you to appreciate the amount of self-control it took not to unmute and start doing them.
Please do next time. Feel free to unmute.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that would go well. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to the 6 o'clock news at 9. Sorry, traffic was worse than we thought. I'm your anchor, so the studio doesn't float away. Like I'm not talking about useful things.
I love it.
In today's news, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer dead at 53. The famed reindeer was flying over Barcelona today when he was struck by a flock of seagulls in the 747. Eyewitness reports have stated the reindeer in Spain was hit mainly by the plane. Like, I can just keep doing it. Like,
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I need you out.
A large conical wooden object was found revolving rapidly in the downtown core. That's our top story. Like, there's so...
I can't believe you have so many queued up for the news specifically. Like, that is just so...
Oh, I have like 50 of those like in my brain just floating around at all times. It's a problem. Brett, the reason Brett doesn't have any questions for me is because he knows what that would incur.
My brain works similar to hers.
I see.
I'm so sorry.
Well, no, this is fine. This is fine. Robot Fish Girl, thank you for showing off your soundboard skills. We would love to have you anytime you want to come and hit your soundboard for us during the show. I think I try to keep up, but this is another level. So yeah,
you need to get Ben on here.
Who?
That way I can have Ben Body.
Oh,
that way I can have an excuse to play my favorite sound that I never get to play on TNS.
What's that?
Time for Ben Explains Memes Badly.
I have a lot of niche ones.
I always thought it was Ben
every time
Bodie.
Woody makes a joke that somebody turns into an actual project.
Woody's sarcastic suggestions become reality.
These are things that happened enough times for me to
I haven't
record
heard that in
these.
so long.
Yeah, shout out to Woody. Woody was our guest on season 2 actually, and he's amazing. He has worked with some incredible musical legends. I mean, he's a musical legend himself, but also he's worked on so many like cool projects on TV that I'm just like, whoa. Would love to have him back. He said he wanted to tune in today, but he's got a real work meeting, I guess. So, you know. Got to do what you got to do if you don't get paid to host Twitter Spaces and whatnot.
He does though. Well, he's on the team at TNS.
Oh, he is. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
No, he wrote. Wait, did you not know that he wrote our theme song?
I didn't. It's really hard to tell like who's officially part of the team and who's not. And like, I just thought he was a really dedicated like community member and like
he is a founding member of TNS. He is the one who wrote this thing that you hear at the beginning of every show. This is Woody's work. Like this whole thing. This is Woody right here. Every time it talks, that's just him pitch shifted down. In 3, 2. That's it.
I'm so jealous. I feel like we need a theme song for our show now.
we need a yeah.
I mean,
I
Mike
feel-
Good has a bunch of CC0 music you could use. Like I use these all the time.
There's
You've
that,
probably
you got
heard
a,
this in however many.
Woody has a website too, Noun Sounds.
Yeah, you can make your own theme song of Woody's stems.
Yeah, you know, I think I have been on Noun Sounds before, but I've never actually like used it during a space. So this is actually
You can record from it.
This.
You can record from it, and yeah, so you can do whatever you want on it. It's all CC0.
Yeah, I used it for background music for a school project.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've played around with it, and I saw you can like make your own little, you sound, with all of the different sounds and put it together. So, yeah, we got to do this, creatures. Well, first we got to get the soundboard because that's the one instrument, and we're working on a proposal for a different grant on a different protocol, and we've implemented the soundboard into that grant.
You can do it for free.
What, the soundboard? For where?
Download voice mod.
Voice mod. Okay.
Yeah, you can upload your own. That's how I'm playing all of these because it's easier than having a physical soundboard.
Really?
Yeah.
I totally assumed it was a soundboard.
No, you can do more stuff with it too. Like if I want to, I can turn into HAL 9000 from 2001.
All right.
It's super easy for me to be able to talk like this at a moment's notice. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Oh my gosh. Is this something on your phone, Robot Fish Girl? Or is this something on your computer?
This is on my computer.
Voice mod here. Wait, are you joining from your computer?
Yes.
Oh, it finally works well? I didn't even notice.
I've been joining from my computer. I've been doing this for like a month now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried it a few times, but I never really like trusted it that it was like full on, Like,
I mean, if you're ever nervous, because Twitter Spaces does go down a lot. I am a huge proponent of Tavern. And if you have a Twitter account, you can use Tavern. So I very much recommend. That's Brennan. Brennan from the Nouns ecosystem. That's his baby. He is the dev on that. And we've been using it. That's I have it pinned up. Brett and I did a promo for that where Brett did the art and I did the voiceover. For every Thursday, we've got Thirsty Thursdays on Tavern. And we do our 9 o'clock shows over there.
Is still printed out on my fridge, RFG. I haven't taken it down.
We got to do more shit posts like that. Between that and Nomo the Nomo gnome, I think we need to. You need to come up with more dumbass characters for me to voice.
They're just spontaneous. They have to, just.
I mean, we do have that entire cast for locals only too. But yeah, there's when Twitter doesn't work, we go over to Tavern. And that is perfectly usable on desktop and is actually, I mean, it's on mobile too if you want to use it there. But I will sing its praises from the mountaintops for forever because it's fantastic. And they have he just implemented summaries, like text summaries of each space, which has bit me in the ass a couple times, but it's still a cool feature.
I think a lot of your sounds from the soundboard are over there too, aren't they?
Not yet, but they will be. He has the files, but he hasn't uploaded them yet because he wants me to be able to upload them and have people buy them like as DLC. I told him he didn't need to, that he could just upload the fucking things, but he hasn't done so yet, so.
Are we talking about Sloppy here? Mr. Sloppy?
No, we're talking about Brennan on Tavern. The thing I posted up from Sloppy is just a thing that we did for the Yellow Collective. Where that's my voice on the dumpster screaming my head off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun stream. Okay. Well, I'm gonna check out Tavern. I have heard you guys talk about it before, but I was never really sure what it was.
Alpha.tavern.fm.
Yeah, I've used Tavern before. I'm part of a program called University of Ethereum, and we talked about the Nouns eSport, and then also had Brennan showcase us the Tavern too. So that was pretty cool, and yeah, it worked seamlessly. And
It's fantastically done, and considering
yeah.
Brennan's a solo dev, it frustrates me that Twitter can't come close.
Definitely check it out, creators. It's pretty cool. It works pretty similar to Twitter.
Yeah. Also, I didn't talk about it, but come hang out on Nouncraft too if you're interested in that at all.
When is that? And where?
That is, it's already launched, and I'll pin up a post from it now. But Nouncraft is what I was funded for from the very first garden round. And it is a Nounish Minecraft server.
That's
so
cool.
There's and it's already live. It is currently in creative mode while we build out the spawn, but I'm hoping to launch it by my birthday next week. So
Yay!
I'm 5 days after you. I'm next Wednesday, February 7th. So
fellow Aquarian.
Hell yeah. So if you're interested in playing modded Minecraft at all of that info is over on that Twitter account that I just pinned up at the top. I meant to talk about that more when we were talking about the garden, but then ADHD happened. So
Oh no, I'm so glad you brought it up because I have seen that. I'm following your Nouncraft account, and let me tell you, there are so many things that I thought of bringing up and then forgot because like our conversation is just like there's so many things we can hone in on that I think it's just like things get lost. So all good, but I'm glad you brought it up because that's pretty cool. So to play in there, you just have to have like a Minecraft account.
You have to have Minecraft Java Edition, and you have to go to nouncraft.gg/apply, which I'll go ahead and pin up, and fill out a short application. And basically, as long as you're not a bot, I will be able to just manually add you. And then once the server is on survival mode, everybody who applies will have to be voted on by these founding members, who is everybody who joins while it's in creative mode.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to get in while it's in creative, then apply now, and I'll just accept you. And if you help build out the spawn, then you will get a vote for everybody who joins after the fact. It's a conditionally open, so it's going to be super easy to get in at the start, and then as it grows, it will presumably get harder to join. And it's just a survival modded Minecraft server built on the Create mod primarily, as well as a couple other things, including a special Nouns mod that I am still working on and should be ready by the first patch. So not right at launch, but the first patch after that I publish should have that ready to go.
That's exciting. Congratulations on that. I've been diving into these Web3 games, and I've never played Minecraft in general before. So I'm excited to check this out. Sometimes I like live.
It's very deliberately not a Web3 game. So if you go to nouncraft.gg, there's a link to the Prop House proposal. But there is no NFT integration with this. And the reason I did that is because, and this is something that I wanted to talk about earlier and didn't get a chance to. I don't think of Nouns as an NFT project. I think of Nouns as a public goods project that uses Web3 and uses NFTs and uses blockchain as a vehicle. But it is not at its core an NFT project. It is a project that uses NFTs. If Ethereum or blockchain in general evaporated tomorrow, Nouns as a movement would keep going. It'd be much harder to fund things, but as a movement of creating CC0 assets and doing good without expectation of return, I think it would continue to work, which is why I wanted to do this Minecraft server, is because I wanted to show that you didn't have to be involved in Web3 to be involved in Nouns. You can be vehemently anti-NFT and still be involved in Nounish initiatives to make the world a better place. And that's the goal of this. Minecraft as a IP is vehemently anti-NFT. But that shouldn't stop us from, using it as a way to teach people about ways that they can improve the world. And if they're interested in nouns and they start looking it up and they decide they want to try, on-chain stuff, that's great. But it's not going to force that on them. They will be able to vote on nouns governance, though, within the server. So that's kind of fun.
Wow, that is a great way to like kind of really just make an example, and a pretty strong example too for people to come in, because yeah, you're right. Like some people are just not budging.
Most
on,
of my
NFT.
friends are vehemently anti-crypto, and for reasons that I agree with. Our only difference is that I think the good outweighs the bad in a lot of ways, and they don't. But we agree on all of the points.
That's fair. I think
yeah.
that's definitely fair, and especially being here for 3 years and seeing the amount of security issues that arise. I do think it's got its pros and cons. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Val, well, I think we're gonna close out here. I meant to say this earlier, and I'm glad I remembered now. But we want to send our love and ask our audience to send their good vibes to our co-host Tyler, who's handling a family emergency. He couldn't be here today, but he will be back next week. Fingers crossed he'll be back next week and things will be better by then. So just wanted to give that shout out. He's usually here and makes the space even more funny, if you can imagine that. So definitely miss him this week. But yeah, I guess I'll just say thank you so much for everybody who tuned in, who might be watching live on YouTube or here on Twitter, the live stream, or listening. Yeah, we really appreciate you. And Robot Fish Girl, thank you so much for coming. I know you gave us a lot of your time and you're super busy, so really absolutely appreciate you. Same goes for Brett and Code, and Symbiotech was listening. Really appreciate you. Rad, shout out to Rad. Fun news coming with Rad, by the way. Not going to go into it now, but stay tuned. Always got something in the pipeline, as you know. What else? Oh yeah, next week, just wanted to remind you guys, next week we'll be back on Tuesday. We don't have a guest lined up, so you're gonna just get to hear from us three co-hosts, and the Web3 news, and then whoever wants to join the stage and comment on the Web3 news, that's what we'll talk about. All right. So and then the week after that, though, we do have NFTP joining us as a guest, and the week after that we have Organic Stones, or Stonesy Organic. However, I think it's Stonesy Organic. That sounds better. But anyway, yes, thank you again for being here. Check out the honoraria I made for Robot Fish Girl. It's pretty cool, if I say so myself. And next week we will give away one edition of those. I'm going to mint one and we'll give that away to one of our lucky listeners next week. All right. So again, Robot Fish Girl, appreciate you. Appreciate you all being here. Everybody have a good rest of your Tuesday. Go eat a taco, pet a toad, maybe drop a Tez artwork. I don't know. It's Tuesday. Do it all. Go crazy. Bye, everybody.